Welcome to the weekly review with Nick. I'm your host, and today is episode 1. It marks the actual first video beyond the intro I put out not too long ago, where I'm jumping in, and this is more of the meat and potatoes of kind of stuff you could expect to see, as well as other things. But I'm excited about this because we're actually getting into it, and we're going. So if you're here, thank you. If you watch my other video, I appreciate that. And thanks for being here, tuning in with me. All right. So what are we talking about today? Well, we are going to touch on the Jim Carrey controversy. Yes, this is a big thing. It should be up there with up there with the Iran war and headlines and stuff. No, I'm totally joking. I take that very seriously, but people are going crazy with this one. It's been interesting, and it's trending on social media and such. And I'm just like, wow. So, what is this about? What happened, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna talk about that and get into it, and just look at some clips. We'll look at some pictures and images to see. We're gonna do some comparison. And yeah, I mean, Jim Carrey is an interesting guy. I've enjoyed his content, his acting. He's put out some good movies, like in the '90s and early 2000s. The Mask, earlier one. Bruce Almighty, Liar Liar, I think is that one. He's a lawyer or something. Dumb and Dumber. He's done some funny ones, and so he's had other ones that kind of bombed. But I think that overall he's been an interesting guy. He's actually made some really interesting comments about like the state of Hollywood and celebrities and acting, and it's kind of like exposing some stuff. And I wonder if that also had to do with like how he kind of withdrew himself at some point not too long ago. So interesting. But this one's going to be fun, so stay tuned. We'll jump into that. All right. So there was a award ceremony in France or something like that, I believe. And this is where all that craziness was started. Watch this little clip of Jim Carrey interviewed by some folks. And yeah, see if you can spot any oddities or something. But this is one of the things they're talking about. And look at his facial expressions and the way he sounds. People are even talking about his eye color. We'll look at some other images in a minute. But yeah, I mean, so are people blowing this out of proportion? All right, let's jump into it.
Bonjour, how are you?
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. I really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech in French. So, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy. But, it's, then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there receiving their awards. And I was like, I'm dead. And I made mistakes and I was like a novice. But I felt a lot of love and I felt a lot of appreciation that I tried.
All right, so, man, okay, my first take is like, okay, first of all, the guy's been out of the limelight for a long time, and I feel like, people forget that aging is a thing. If I look at pictures of myself, I am going to be 37 this year, and it's like I have whites that I'm like, when I look at myself, even when I was like 30, not 7 years ago, it's like I look so different. I mean, I had darker hair and less wrinkles coming in and stuff like that. I mean, off the cuff, I'm like, there's nothing too crazy with this. I know people are talking about like his, you could see his eyes and kind of the way they're like that. And by the way, it is totally not uncommon for these celebrities to, have been out of the limelight and then appear with like having, facial reconstruction and, Botox and all kinds of like, stuff they do to keep up with their looks and be youthful and things like that. So off the top, I'm like, nothing crazy here, but this clip generated a lot of controversy, and yeah, but we'll keep talking about it. I know that some of you probably have some opinions about this. I want to hear about them. Leave some comments. I'd be curious to see what you actually think about this and if you watched it. Yeah. All right, so let's get into the next thing. All right, so here we have an image of Jim Carrey. We got split. One on the left is from several years ago, and the one on the right is this one here is the one that was recently taken. And if you look at it off the cuff, I mean, there is definitely similarities. I mean, I could see, you know, to be fair, like why some people might think, oh, it's not him, it's an imposter. But like the chin is a little different looking. Also, people have made some comments about how he usually smiles in his like glamour shots and pictures and stuff like that. But this time around, didn't really smile much. Um, the nose looks very similar, and the eyebrows are a little different. The eyes seem kind of, maybe more lifted on the imposter, and obviously longer hair and everything. But yeah, I mean, and you could see the wrinkles on the forehead. Um, you know, can't really tell on the ears. But yeah, I mean, I in total fairness, I could see a little bit, but I feel like maybe this one's being blown out of proportion. People are people are saying that Jim Carrey has been kidnapped by the Illuminati, and like he's already and he's like exposed Hollywood on certain things, and they're like they got rid of him, and it's or just like they're done with him, and so they just have stand-ins. I mean, it's like the kind of conspiracies coming out of this are getting kind of wild, and I'm just it really cracks me up because I feel like maybe this one is blown out of proportion. But I'd be really curious to see what you guys think. So, comment below, like the video, share, subscribe, and yeah, stay tuned for the next one we're going to talk about. Peace.